Good afternoon. Okay, so this is a video about archery. I have a bunch of bows, I have different kinds of arrows, I have some horse bows, an English longbow, a lovely Crimean bow which I've just strung. I'll show you how to string bows. They all get strung the same way. I was doing this video and my son phoned me, which cancelled the whole thing, so I have to start again. Okay, now the question is, how did this begin? I have a friend called Nemesis and she's very good at archery. So she took me out to the range in Queens, and I hadn't, I guess I hadn't held a bow in my hand since I was 12, 13 maybe, because I used to make them and I used to fire up the arrows that I made as well. But I had my own system of doing it. I loaded on the Lars Anderton side of the bow, the right side of the bow. I didn't know how to stick the arrow on the left. Not only that, the bow that I hired had all sorts of sights and things on it. I just do natural shooting, bang. I don't even have an anchor point, but I can hit anything, right? Not anything, but I can get a pretty good level of accuracy. In other words, if there was a human target 30 yards away, I would hit him, no problem, right? That's not the way I'm thinking. I should have said that. But that's what really the history of the thing involves. Now the other thing is this. So I was very disappointed in myself, so when I went out to Queens with Nemesis and she was hitting everything, hitting the bullseye all the time, and I was missing everywhere. I couldn't even hold the bow right. And then what happened was, I saw the Lars Anderton video and I got myself, I don't know what kind of a bow it is, but it's a horse bow anyway. It's over here. I'll show you in a minute. I'll also show you how to string bows, by the way. All bows. It doesn't matter if it's an English longbow. I've seen people struggle trying to string even English longbows on the YouTube and they can't do it, but it's dead easy. I'm not a big guy, but I can string anything up to 120 pounds with ease. All right, so I came home very disappointed with myself with this bad shooting, and I got one of these horse bows and I figured out I could do it. Darn, quite well. So I'll show you the bows I have, but I'm going to show you, I'll show you the bows I have first. This is the first bow I got. It's 110 pounds, and I think it's a hand bow from China, hand style bow, and it's a recurve bow. It has these wooden things on the end. That's a particular style. It's just fiberglass, and it cost me like $60. So I'm going to string this one for you first, so you see the method. It's the same all the time. Actually, I need a carpet for this. Need a bit of an old carpet to string it, because you need to grip it on the ground. So I have a knee injury, so this might not go so well. But you can't see it, I guess. You put this part on front of your right leg, and then your knee goes in here. But the most important thing is the palm of your hand. It stays open, and that's a pretty heavy bow, and I've just strung it successfully. I'll do a better video on that. This is a quick one. All right, it's 110 pounds, and I strung it dead easily. This one I love, and I'm pretty good with it actually. I got another one just like that because 110 pounds was bothering me. I used to shoot a lot in my apartment. I don't want a 110 pound bow going off in my apartment. This one is about 70 pounds, something like that. String it the same way. Put your leg over it. You can't see it. I'm sorry I can't move the camera. Open palm and in. Dead easy, right? I'll do a video on stringing bows and you can see my feet. Or maybe towards the end of this video I'll do it. And then my favorite bow of all. Not quite. I have another bow which is my favorite. This is my favorite. But this, it's really beautiful. And to string it is really hard because it's, once again, 120 pounds. And it's a Crimean horse bow. And it's light as a feather. It weighs about 8 ounces. Light as a feather, but lethal. Now I like to do speed shooting. In other words, I go, you know, one arrow, I'm not shooting them, I'm just dropping them. Another arrow, and you notice I don't need to look to knock, and they're falling. Don't worry about that, that's only, pick them up later. And another arrow. And it's instinctive shooting, because you know, traditional shooting, they bring it to a point on their cheek. I don't do that. The reason is because I did it very well when I was a kid, never thought about it, and it works very well. Now, for speed shooting, you can adjust your knocks by making them a little bit wider, but mostly I don't bother. I find I can get it just as quick using the ordinary standard knocks. But I just tried this to see if I went any quicker. Didn't make me any quicker. So I got those ordinary carbon atoms, or sorry, arrows, carbon atoms, I'm a physicist. Most of my YouTube channels are physics, by the way. Physics is coming up for you physicists, by the way. The renormalization group equation, yeah, I figured it out. I figured out how to do a simple presentation. It's coming. Standard, you buy them on Amazon.com, you know, for $25 for something like 12. But I have other arrows. Do you know if you lose your fletches, all you need is duct tape or even masking tape to make new ones? You can figure it out, right? It's not rocket science. You just make them in any shape you want. I did these because I like to get a long draw here instead of this one here. Some more carbon atoms or arrows, again I'm going off on a tangent, but they have better fletches. These are on Amazon too, and very inexpensive, and they have these kind of standard points. Now my favorite arrows, of course, are my wooden arrows, you know, with turkey feathers. I haven't really used these much, and they have the same kind of knocks, same kind of points, same kind of tips, call it what you want. Well, I also have some lethal tips. These will go through a human being, in one side, out the other, at 10 yards. They will certainly penetrate at 30 yards, to a great depth. Very lethal. Now I just stick arrows in my pocket. What bows have I not done yet? Okay, my favorite bow is one I made myself, and I'm going to do a whole program on this one because this is the principle that I used when I was a kid. This is a very light bow. It's maybe 40 pounds. But it's only because I use pine. I don't know what this darker wood is, but it's very light. You could use a heavier wood if you wanted to. It's based on the leaf spring principle of a car. Put lots of layers in, get ordinary grease and a bit of duct tape, and you get a beautiful bow. I'm going to string it. Now the thing about this bow is that makes it lethal is not its pulling power. There are two things that affect the strength of an arrow hitting you. Work, which is energy, measured in joules, is force times distance. Now that's true for a bow. For this bow you don't have much force, but you have distance. Japanese bows go way back behind the head. So if you have, let's say, a force of 100 newtons and a distance of 0.3 meters, you can get 30 joules out of it, right? Or you could have a 50-pound force. and a distance of 0.6 meters. You get the same effect. So you either do one or the other, or both. For this one here, this bow is awesome. Watch the draw length on, oh, that's a short arrow. There's another one. I draw this arrow really far back, right back to here. And I'm even trying to get a longer arrow to make up that shortfall in poundage. And it's really easy. You can hardly notice the pulling power, but the distance is awesome. And how I made it was, I just took lats, bought lats in the hardware. Lats are thin pieces of wood, they're only this width. Now I machined a little bit of a grip up here, and then I put a rope around it. And I put them in different layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just copy the leaf spring of a truck or a car and this works. But you have to put lots of grease in between them to make sure that they slide easily. It makes it very easy to pull. It's awesome. Now the next bow I'm going to look at is my favorite. It's the Robin Hood bow, the English longbow. Let me check the video. Yeah, it's still running. Longbow, the whole idea of a longbow is it has to be taller than the user. I'm only 5'7", so this is going to be taller than me. But here we go, we're going to string it. Do you know what? You can use the Mongolian method of stringing with an English longbow. You don't have to stick it on your foot. I would never be able to string this if I stuck it on my foot. I don't have the strength. It's 120 pounds. Now, the string is too long. This is a Flemish knot. So we rotate it anti-clockwise to get to a red mark, and that's the length I want. It might even go further. Right, see where the string has gone? Rotating it, the Flemish knot, anti-clockwise. Now we'll try and string it. It's going to be a hard job to string this one, but I'll be able to do it, even with my knee injury. How about that? No fussing or anything. Now this bow is absolutely awesome. I don't want to send an arrow out the window by accident, but I just draw it. That's 120 pounds. Or 110 anyway. And this one is hickory. I want to get another one, maybe ash. When I was a kid I made ash bows. But I do speed shooting with an English bow just the same. I'll show you. I'm not letting the arrows go, I'm just pretending. Arrows are falling, don't worry about that. Now you can also do this. In fact, it's actually better to bring it up instead of bringing it down. The reason I hesitated there was I didn't want to damage the turn reflex. I'll use some of my cheaper arrows. Grab the arrows in your hand. You can also grab them up in front. I don't care where you put them, or you just put them in your pocket. Usually I actually put them in my pocket. This time I'm not going to drop them, I'm going to catch them in the front. So you get the picture, all right? Now, this is an introduction to archery, and there's more coming. The big presentation I want to do is actually to make one of these bows alive, right? And I might make an English longbow as well from ash. The reason is I don't have a workshop, so it really makes a lot of dust. Whoops. I love this one though. You can see how beautiful it is. Doesn't matter that the grip is wide, because you don't put your hands around it. For me, I just push it and the arrow goes over my thumb. Watch. See? Now I know that traditionally English longbows are fired with the arrow on this side. That's no use for me because there's too much fiddling around. Too much fiddling around, and I like to go fast. Like 10 arrows in 15 seconds or something like that. Okay, that's for that. We'll have more to come.